Hi, I am going to answer the question of when did Australia become a nation. There were four significance of Australia became a nation, which were the time that indigenous Australians came, the European settlement, Federation, and World War One. My answer for this is the Federation and the Federation of Australia and the time of was Australia's involvement in World War One. In my opinion, I think that Australia became a nation was in World War One, because I also think that a nation needs to have their own nationhood, and World War One grew Australia's nationhood. There were 7 colonies of Australia, which are New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania, Victoria, South, South Australia, Western Australia, and Northern Territory. Some of them were made before Federation and some of them made after. The Federation had an important significance for Australia in war. The proposal of Federation was mentioned by Henry Parker, who was called the father of Federation. In 1889, he called on the colonies. He said that unite and create a great nation government for all Australia. His appeal affected on many people, and they started to draft a federation constitution. However, this bill passed in Australia in 1899. In 1900, British Parliament passed this bill and Queen Victoria signed her name on it on 9 July 1900. In 1901, Commonwealth of Australia was legally born. Although Australia became a Commonwealth country in 1901, from the resource I found, it seems that they were still a colony of Britain. According to research, it shows that Australia lacked its own national symbols. They sang British national song in public, and Australia had its own nation songs until 1980s. The head of Australia was the head of Britain, because they didn't have the experiment of being a nation. Its defense policy still need Britain's help. This resource shows that Australia didn't live as a nation, they lived as a colony. Few years after Federation, World War One broke out, and Australia took part in. There were many reasons that why Australia took part in World War One, and some reasons were because of Britain. The first reasons for Australia involving in World War One was that because Britain was their mother country, and Australia still was a part of them. Also, as the war began, Australia still had a lot of loyalty, and because 98% of people who lived in Australia weren't Aboriginal people, were English, and soldiers still considered that Britain was their home. The third reason was that Australia urgent need the respect from another country in this world. The last reason was that at that time Britain didn't have enough army to fight with the enemy. They need Australians' help. In World War One, there were many campaigns that Anzac took part, but only Gallipoli campaigns has a special meaning of them. Gallipoli campaigns for, and the major problem was that allies were lack of resources. They didn't have enough time to change, and they didn't have a good strategy for the campaigns. Also, they underestimated Turkish, and they thought that Turkish still would fail as before. This campaign clearly showed that Britain was weak on military, which means Britain couldn't become a major military power for World War I. Gallipoli campaign was a symbol of Australia's nation identity, and also World War I was a test of the nation. Of their nation. Moreover, with the failure of Gallipoli campaigns, Australians started to grow their own nationhood, and this was the root growing deep in as everyone saw. At the Gallipoli campaign, Australians also grow measures that include the quality of the nation. Also, the Gallipoli campaign showed Australians what they did and which could make them proud of their nation. In conclusion, the experiment of World War I made the nationhood for Australia, which means Australia had become a nation in Australian soul. Thank you for